Hello students, this video is to help you pass quiz 6.06. Please copy all of the problems in this video. There will be 8. Copy the question and the answer and the work, please. So this is about solving systems by using substitution. Question number 1. Solve the system by using substitution. So the way you do this problem is you plug in one equation into the other. So I just rewrote it on the side here. Y equals negative 4x plus 30 is up here. And then the bottom equation, y equals 6x plus 10, is down here. And I'm going to plug in the top equation into the bottom equation like this. I'm going to take everything that y equals and I'm going to plug it into the y spot in the equation below. So instead of putting y, I'm going to put negative 4x minus 30 equals, and then I'm going to drop what it says over here, 6x plus 10. Okay, so I'm going to put a line down the equal sign, and I'm just going to solve for x. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write down some steps, and I think you should put them in your notes so that when you're taking the test you can follow these steps. So here are the steps, and the first step was find a letter that's alone. For example, y equals and then everything is on the other side, or maybe it says x equals and everything's on the other side. And so in this problem it was the y that was by itself, and it said y equals negative 4x minus 30. So see how the y was by itself on one side of the equal sign? That's what I mean in step 1. Step number 2 says solve for the letter. So once we plugged it in, now we need to solve for the letter. So we are on step number 2. In order to solve for x, you need to get the x's together on the same side. Who do you want to move? Do you want to move the negative 4x to the other side? Or do you want to move the positive 6x to the other side? Who do you want to move? The rule of thumb is that you should move the smaller one, or the one that's most negative. That way you can eliminate negatives in your problem. So I'm going to go ahead and move the 4x to the other side. It's a negative 4x. So in order to move it, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do plus 4x. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. Then I drop the junk. And 6x plus 4x is going to give us 10x. Now who's bothering the x? Hopefully you're thinking that the 10s are bothering the x. You have a 10 right in front of the x, and then you have a 10 at the end. Which one should you get rid of first? Hopefully you're thinking the one that's furthest from the x. So this plus 10 over here. What's the opposite of plus 10? How are you going to get rid of this plus 10? The opposite of plus is take away. So I'm going to take away 10 on both sides. The 10s cancel out, and negative 30 minus 10 is going to give me negative 40. Drop your junk. How do you get rid of that 10 that's right in front of the x? You divide. When they're close together, you have to divide to separate them. We are now done. We just need to write our answer over. X equals 10 goes into 40 4 times, and because of the negative, it's a negative 4. These problems are long. That was just step number 2. Now I need step number 3. I need to go back for the other letter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the first problem that I circled, and I'm going to use that equation. So I'm just going to show you an arrow here, and I'm going to write it down here. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. So it was y equals negative 4x minus 30. and I'm going to plug in the answer I just got. So I know that x equals negative 4. We just figured that out. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to plug in a negative 4. Just like that. X equals negative 4. Okay? Drop your junk. So y equals, there's a negative 4 in front. The x is negative 4, and then the minus 30. Okay. I'm going to put a line down the equal sign here. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. Drop your junk. And positive 16, take away 30. That's what y is going to equal, whatever we get here. And the answer is negative 14. So y equals negative 14. So I need to put these two answers together as an ordered pair with an x spot and a y spot. In the x spot, I'm going to put negative 4 because that's what x equals. And in the y spot, I'm going to put negative 14 because that's what y equals. Look at the answer choices. Who has negative 4 and negative 14? Hopefully you see that it's this last answer that's the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 2. This question is the same, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same steps. Refer to your steps in order to follow along what I'm doing. So I'm going to plug in this top equation into the bottom equation wherever I see a y. So instead of a y, I'm going to put 3x minus 2. I don't have to put the parentheses, so I think I'm going to go ahead and erase that parenthesis there. I really don't need it. And then it's going to be equals, and then I just drop everything, 1/2 x plus 5. As always, I'm going to put a line down my equal sign so that I can work out this problem. So I'm going to go ahead and move the fraction. So I'm going to take away 1/2 x on both sides. Take away 1/2 x on both sides. 3x's take away 1/2 x is, and I'm going to go ahead and write this as a decimal. $3 take away $1/2, which is 50 cents, would be $2.50. Okay, so I thought of it like this. 3 take away 50 cents. And that's going to equal $2.50. Okay, with the x. Drop your junk. Minus 2 equals 5. Who's bothering the x? Hopefully you're thinking the negative 2 is. Do the opposite to get rid of it, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I have 2.5 x equals 5 plus 2 is 7. Last step, how do you get rid of the 2.5 in front? Hopefully you're thinking to divide by 2.5. And if you do that on the calculator, you get x equal to, oh, I'm so sorry, I just noticed I made a mistake. At the beginning it was a negative 1/2, and I forgot that negative. So I apologize, but I have to go back and fix it. So right here, look at, I forgot to put the negative. So then I should have gone plus 1/2 x, plus 1/2 x. So this was $3 plus 50 cents was $3.50. So that should have been 3.5 x. So I should have divided by 3.5. And the answer to that is 2, which is very different from what I would have gotten if I wouldn't have fixed it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go back for the other answer. So I'm going to take the guy that I circled, and I'm going to go ahead and write down the equation. Y equals 3x minus 2. And I'm going to plug in the answer I just got. I just got this answer that x equals 2. So instead of an x, I'm going to put a 2 right there. Drop your junk and work this out. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 take away 2 is 4. So y equals 4. Who has the answer 2, 4? 2, 4. Who has that answer? The first one has that answer. Okay? Let's move on to question number 3. It's the same thing. Solve the following system by substitution. I'm going to show you a different way to do this problem. Some of you might think it's like a shortcut or like a backwards cheating kind of way, but I'm going to go ahead and show it to you anyways. Another way you can do these problems is to plug in the points to see if they work. So let's say I want to check to see if 2, 3 works. What I would do is I would label it 2, 3, I would label it x and y, and I'm going to plug it into the equations to see if it works. So the first equation I have is 3x minus y equals 8. And instead of an x, I am going to plug in a 2. And instead of a y, I'm going to plug in a 3. Drop your junk. So there's a 3 in front, and then the x, and then minus, and then the 3 for the y, and then equals 8. Let's see if this ends up equaling 8. Let's see if they told you the truth or a lie. 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 take away 3 equals 3. But they said it was going to be 8. Well, it didn't work. That means that the first one is not a solution. Let's try the next one. Let's try 2, 1. So for 2, 1, I'm going to plug in a 2 in the x spot and a 1 in the y spot. So the equation again is 3x